Hi there, this is Steve Spurrier. You can join University of Florida Hall of Famer Shane Matthews and also the two-time SEC Player of the Year every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about the Florida Gators, including news, analysis, opinions, and some of the biggest names in sports. You can find him on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Or you can watch him live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter.
Good morning and welcome to a Friday edition of PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. I want to thank the head ball coach, Stephen Orr Spurrier, for our introduction today. Today's program, we'll have JC. We'll do our Peachland Dental weekend picks, and then we're going to have one of our big sponsors, Jeffrey Meldon from Meldon Law, is going to be giving away some of his fancy shirts he likes to wear. JC, you look good in some of these shirts. Good morning. You're on the Titan Tomorrow hotline. They're very bright, have a bunch of gator heads and F's and script gators all over the shirt. You look good in it.
No, man, I like Jeffrey's shirts. Those are neat. Very colorful, very fancy, very summerly. QB, it's the third weekend in September, bro. This is when the football season for me would typically start as a Florida Gator follower and fan and a lifelong person that's watched them play. And, that Tennessee game, typically Florida would play two softies, and then the season for me would officially start with the Tennessee game, whether it's up there or down here. This year, Florida opened with not a softie, but played one last week, and now we get the Tennessee game, SEC football conference. Tennessee hasn't won here since 2003. They haven't. I mean, this rivalry in the 90s was the game in the SEC. I think because you had two of the best teams. Of course, you had two of the best players playing quarterback and Werfel and Manning. It's just it was such a great rivalry, and still is, of course. But you've had great experiences and bad experiences in Tennessee if you're a Gator fan. If you've been a Gator fan long enough, you've had horrors up there and you've had thrills down here. But I will tell you this: Florida Field is a house of horrors for the Tennessee Volunteers, except in 2003 because of a hurricane. But having said
2001.
Or 2001, I'm sorry. But having said that, they don't win here. They do not win.
You know how many times they've won here, JC?
Very few. Very few.
What would you guess?
5.
You're correct. Think about that.
I just threw that out there, but I knew it was a low number. And it's the Big Orange, man. It's Rocky Top. It's that stupid dog. It's that crazy.
Don't yell at Smokey.
I don't look, man. As an Alabama grad,
Smokey would wear the hell out of Toto.
Well, yes, she would. Well, but the thing is Tennessee grips me from when I went to college because Alabama never beat Tennessee when I was there from 82 to 86. Couldn't touch them. When Peyton Manning played for Tennessee, he killed Alabama. Absolutely killed them. So I loathe Tennessee. Them and LSU are probably my two big ones in this conference. Don't like much about Georgia either, and of course Auburn. But man, dude, this is a great game. And my best memory or my worst memory was being in the rain up there in the 90s. First trip to Knoxville when Dale Carter took back the second half punt. I'll never forget. I was in the elevator going to the press box, and the roar was deafening because I missed the second half kickoff, and there goes Dale, and the rest is history. But some of my favorite memories are when Tennessee would come down here, get a lead in the first half, and then Danny Werfel would go bananas in the second half. And Florida would beat Tennessee every single time they came to the Swamp. Every single time. So this is going to be a new world for Billy Napier and all these great players we have here in Gainesville to get something started as part of the new tradition of Florida, to get it started against a hated rival like this team and to start a little run of their own down here in the Swamp.
Yeah, everyone's telling you that since your Crimson Tide lost to Peyton, we never had any issues with Peyton. So there
never couldn't touch him, dude. Oh, the Alabama was trying.
Eugene on Facebook Live, brought to you by Meldon Law, says, is JC heading down to Tampa to see his Roll Tide, or has he given up on them like he has his Yankees?
Well, it's easy to give up on the Yankees because they're a bunch of quitters. But no, Alabama is going to be fine. I heard a guy yesterday on the radio talk about how he says they're going to run the table in the West because they're going to figure out this quarterback situation. And I think this is a perfect game to let the backups show everybody what they can do because they need some reps. They've got to have some reps. We don't need to see Jalen Milroe blow out an inferior opponent. We've already seen that. We need to see, as an Alabama fan, graduate and alumni and booster and everything else, we need to see Buckner and Ty Simpson play a lot of snaps in this game against South Florida because the SEC, they're not going to win the SEC with that kid playing quarterback. I'm sorry. But if they wanted to make Milroe more effective, they would get him out of those 7-man protections and out of the pocket and let him lead with his legs. But nobody's asking me up there in Tuscaloosa what to do. So that's kind of
that's probably a good thing.
To answer the question, no, I think that makes sense. But that's why I'm not going. So I was going to go until I saw they wanted $250 to sit there behind the team. So with 2 tickets, that's $500. I got a park, that's another $50. And then, of course, everything else I like to do. That's a lot of money to spend for a team that just lost at home to Texas. So,
it's going to be – I think Alabama will score every possession they touch the football this week.
It's a bad team they're playing. It's a bad
They're
team.
horrible.
It's a bad
team. On the Titan
more
text line from Brett from Jax, he says, Shane, I hope we start on defense. What do you think? I think if we win the toss, we will defer and give them the football.
You know, your coach used to always take the ball. He wanted it.
Well, yes, he did.
He always took the ball, QB.
I agree, but I think, and I don't know why it's happened recently, but I think all coaches, whether you have a great offense or not, because they want that opportunity to score at the end of the half and get the opening kick.
Correct, but your coach never thought of that.
Well, I don't think he thought of that. I think he would change his mind now. Text on the Titan More text line from an anonymous texter. Shane, sitting in my office this morning like Fox Mulder, I want to believe. I want to believe Florida 17, Tennessee 16. I want to believe. It's Tommy. Well, Tommy, I think it's going to be more higher scoring than 17-16. Thanks for the text, though.
Yeah, this is not the 70s and 80s. They're going to throw it. I think Florida is going to show you, QB. I'm going to say they're going to try to throw it more than 25 times. I think so.
Well, I hope we fired around a lot. Josh from Mississippi on the Titan More text line. What do y'all think about what Paul Feinbaum said about the Gators targeting Deion as the Gators' next coach? I personally love Napier. I think Paul's looking for clicks and mentions.
Yeah,
that's first I've heard of that. I think that will never happen.
No. First of all, this guy is here for a minimum 4 years. He's not. I don't care what their record is this year. He will not be fired. And I don't know if you like that or not, folks. But the reality is that Scott Strickland has put his entire reputation on Billy Napier, and as in terms of being a guy who can hire a winning football coach. And it's all about Billy Napier now because the Dan Mullen thing didn't work. It did at Mississippi State, but it didn't work here. And I don't think Scott Strickland even hired Dan Mullen at Mississippi State either. So this was his first splash hire, as far as I'm concerned, after Mullen, and he needs to do well. And so he's going to give Billy all of the time Billy says he's going to want to be here at Florida. If Billy Napier leaves Florida, it'll be on.
Put it this way: Florida wins tomorrow. All these naysayers will be on the boat.
But this is the biggest game of his tenure at UF.
I agree. There's no question. All right, Mark, who lives in this is Facebook Live brought to you by Meldon Law. He says he lives in Knoxville, and he says that the local radio guys are saying Napier would be stupid to have Mertz try and throw it down the field. They're clueless. This goes back to the general public, and I don't want the general public or people I'm talking to don't have a clue, because I respect Joel Klatt. I mean, he played the position. I think he's really good at what he does. He studies hard. He had Mertz as one of the top 10 quarterbacks in America this year. I agree with him 100%. The kid is a good football player. If y'all don't see that, you're blind. I mean, he is a really good player.
Look, this is going to be his first home game as the Gator quarterback.
Here's what I want to read to you, JC. I screenshot it.
Okay. Let's hear it.
The last time Joe Milton and Graham Mertz faced off, they've played against each other.
Yeah.
Badgers beat the Michigan Wolverines.
That's
49-11.
Well, that Michigan team wasn't very good. Yes, I remember Joe Milton at Michigan, but I also think that what Josh Heupel's going to do with Milton is just it's just so much better than what the Alabama guys are doing with Milroe.
Well, that is true. But again,
just don't give him a chance.
Joe Milton, you can't compare him to your guy. He's a better thrower than your guy. But the people that I've talked to in Tennessee don't believe in Joe Milton. They don't think he can play.
Well, tell me why they would. I mean, Hendon Hooker was so darn good last year. Yeah. Who in the hell worries about Joe Milton? He was the backup. Look, Hendon Hooker.
Well, he was the starter and lost his job.
Well, right. But Heupel was smart enough to make that change just in time, wasn't he? And that was a magical season. I heard Bob Kessling on the show the other day. That was a magical season for Tennessee where strangers were picking up children and throwing them on their shoulders, watching Alabama get screwed by the officials, and watching Tennessee beat them for the first time in 20 freaking years. Okay, great. Tennessee had a good year last year. Guess what? Those fans aren't going to be that happy if Florida's up by 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter on Saturday. They're not. So Tennessee couldn't do a diddly-poo against Austin Peay. And granted, they probably didn't try as hard either because they're looking forward to the Florida game. Those are the realities of college football. Sometimes it's hard to have your attention. You may disagree with this, but sometimes your attention is just not on something like Austin Peay or Middle Tennessee or anybody like that when you know you've got a monster coming in or a trip to take next week that really, really is important, especially a conference game in the SEC at Florida where they, like I said, this place is a house of horrors for Tennessee. And I think Florida's going to throw it 25 times because I think they'll be able to. But now listen, Tennessee's going to run the ball. They want that Jalen kid. What's his name? QB, the running back.
They have three running backs.
They're going to try to establish the run. And you have preached.
That's what they do. That's what they're a running football team.
That's right. And you have preached and preached and preached about the front seven being able to handle the running game. And if Florida can force them into 3rd and 6, 3rd and 10, QB, you got to like their chances, right? I mean, defense. All right.
No, I like our chances a lot. I got a text on the Titan More text line from Daryl. Good morning, guys. Shane, would you press Tennessee's receivers and stack the line of scrimmage? And JC, the Purple Hurricanes roll into Blue Devil country tonight. Purple Hurricanes are not your daddy's or granddaddy's Purple Hurricanes. No, they're not very good. They ain't won a game.
It's all about Pujols now, brother. It's all about Pujols right
now.
Yep. But listen,
I would press here and there. I mean. It depends on the situation and what's going on.
We have said all damn week and during the offseason that to beat Tennessee, you want Joe Milton to have to beat you, and that means stopping the run. So Florida has to stop the run.
Yep. A couple of YouTubers brought to you by Quality Plumbing. 31M Burr says, Shane, what's your thoughts on Hurts as a QB? I think he's a decent quarterback. I think they've done a good job with him. I didn't watch one snap. I don't have Amazon Prime, or I forgot the game was on last night, quite honestly. I don't think he's one of the top 10. I don't think he's one of the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL, though.
Well, he's playing like he's one of the top 3. And
the next guys, I mean, that has nothing to do with it, JC, what you're making.
That's fine. Whatever. Nobody cares about his ranking. They win with him. They have won with him. And really, Philadelphia's issues is on defense. Their issues are on defense. He had Devontae Smith last night on a 63-yarder. He can run with his leg. Listen, the quarterback position in Philadelphia is in good shape. The problem with the Eagles is that, and last night, Kirk Cousins had 4 touchdown passes, okay?
He threw for like 400 yards too, didn't he?
Yes, Kirk Cousins, he did. And Minnesota caught the back door with the late touchdown to cover. If anybody cares about that. Some people do. It was 6.5. The final score was 34-28. And they had it on at the local bar and table over here, QB. You could have come up and watched it. But
I could care less.
You don't leave the house after 7 o'clock. So
I had things. I didn't get home till like after 8 o'clock, and I could care less. I could care less about the National Football League when it comes. All right, Ted says if the Vols put 8 in the box, Ted, they are moronic.
Well, if the Vols put 8 in the box and Florida doesn't throw it 25 times, then Florida is moronic.
They're not going to put 8 in the box. Tennessee will not put 8 in the box.
Well, look, I mean, I'm thinking the score is going to be in the high 20s, low 30s. QB. I think we'll see pretty good amount of points.
Radware is a family-owned business that prides itself in excellent customer service while providing quality and affordable promotional products and customized apparel. We got JC on the Titan MR hotline, and then we'll go to Jeffrey Meldon is going to be giving away some shirts. I think Kirk Cousins is a good player. All right. Says Shamar James is the highest rated linebacker in college football per PFF. Thoughts? I think it's way too early. He flies around. I like his motor. He needs to fly around tomorrow night.
Yes, he does. Jimmy, I'm annoyed right now at my damn country club, making all the members tee off and the shotgun start at 8 o'clock because we have this goofy tournament on the day before the Tennessee game. Who the hell over there at the Hawkstone schedules a charity event on the day before the Tennessee Vols roll into town? It just shows you how brain dead some of the county here in Alachua is when it comes to Florida football. Now, there's going to be 90,000 fans over there tomorrow night. There's going to be about 7,000 to 10,000 Tennessee fans. So I think it's going to be a fantastic atmosphere. But I'm pissed about this golf course making us, the people who fund it, play before noon so that they can have this ridiculous golf tournament in the afternoon. I'm going to have a little issue with that. I'm going to go complain. But I'm not going to complain.
Do you think all your loyal listeners around the world give a damn?
I just told you why I'm a little irritable this morning. But it is Tennessee week. It's Tennessee week. It's the Florida-Tennessee game, man. This is the first big one for the season. This is when you really know that the football season has come. Last week was fun. It was a nice little activity. It was a practice. It was this, it was that. This is going to be a real game. I think I heard somebody say that Pat Dooley, the legend here in Gainesville, say that Florida fans would be happy if Florida just showed up and played hard and made it a close game. I couldn't believe I heard that. And I want to say he was misquoted. I want to say that. But if he wasn't misquoted, that's a little tone down. And I know Pat, listen, Pat knows more about Florida football. He's been here since the 60s, whatever, him and Russ. But the reality is that no Gator fan is going to be happy with a close loss to Tennessee.
We're not playing – people act like we're playing this damn juggernaut coming in here. Well, they're not that damn good. There ain't that much. I mean, I don't know if they're better than we are. I really don't.
You're going to find out tomorrow.
Yeah.
You'll find out tomorrow. Simple as that. You'll find out tomorrow. But the game it's a huge rivalry. And it's because Tennessee has found their footing again. And it's been a long time for those suffering fans in Knoxville. I mean, it's been abysmal. You think it's been slow around here the last 10 years. They've had it for 20 to 25 years with pure hell and misery. Because they couldn't beat out. Yeah, we got a lot of response to your rant on golf. Tony says, "Go play Ironwood."
Go play Ironwood.
Over here. I mean, we got people mowing grass. I got golfers.
Well, that's what happens when you live on a golf course. They're going to cut grass behind your yard. Tony says, "Go play Ironwood." Asa says, "JC, you need to check. It's a charity event for cancer fundraising."
We do 100,000 of those around here. Why do we have to do it the day before the Tennessee game? I appreciate that, but come on.
Tony says, "Isn't the F Club tournament today?" Yes, that's at Bostic. So
that's good. You're playing in that.
I am playing in it. I'm only playing in it because the HBC asked me to play with it. So
you love it, QB.
Absolutely. I would rather come mulch your yard than go play in a scramble.
What, over there at Boston with all your Gator buddies? Come on, man. The ball coach.
I'm not going to know half the people there, but I would rather either mow the median on I-75, come clean your gutters out, than play in a scramble. There's nothing worse. What?
I said a bad word. I mean, we've got so much going on before 9 o'clock over here with these damn machines cutting grass.
All right. JC, it's time to get to our Peachland Dental.
Can't hear a damn thing. All right, let's do it.
Can you hear Peachland Dental picks? Gator Nation's #1 choice for dentistry, Port Charlotte, surrounding areas. Visit them at peachlanddental.com. What games do you have on the docket for us?
All right, we got a lot of good college games, but really this weekend is not the weekend I think that I thought it was. First off, we're going to start with the story of the year in college football, and according to Joel Klatt, the story of all of sports is the Colorado Buffaloes. The story of sports is the Colorado Buffaloes. Forget about Novak Djokovic winning 24 majors. Forget about, the whoever's winning it. Colorado's laying 23.5 points to their in-state rival, the Rams.
Did you see what the Colorado State head coach said?
Yes, he said Dion with the sunglasses.
I don't argue. I don't disagree with him though.
Why sunglasses?
And so here's like a lot of stuff Dion says, I disagree with. Like JC, when he tells his players that they cannot wear a hat in meetings, they cannot wear jewelry and stuff. And then he stands in front of them with all that crap on. I have a problem with
that. I see what you're saying. But you know what? He's the grown up and they're the kids and they have to listen to him. I'm taking Colorado to beat them by 30. I think
I mean, Colorado, let's be great. I agree. It's a great story. I think his kid is an outstanding player. Travis Hunter's a good player.
Oh, yeah.
But I want to see how they perform against the real teams in the Pac-12.
You'll see that next week and the week after.
Yeah.
Washington is a good team. Michigan State has had miserable distractions with a moron idiot coach, Mel Tucker, overpaid and soon to be fired. But they're catching 16.5 in East Lansing. Washington traveling 3 time zones to get there. I think Michael Penix throws 4 touchdowns. 16.5 is a lot of points, but I'm going to take them by a nose to cover that spread.
Yeah, I think Washington's a pretty good football team. I couldn't tell you a thing about Michigan State.
Yeah. Well, they got an idiot for a coach.
I'll take the Huskies.
All right, here's a pretty interesting game. Coming off the big win, will Texas have a letdown at home, laying 29.5 against my Wyoming Cowboys from Laramie, Wyoming? 29.5, 2-0 team now. Coming down there to Texas. They beat Texas Tech, Wyoming. 29.5.
Ooh. I think Texas wins by 28. So
right.
give me the Cowpokes.
Yeah, I'm doing that too. I think there is this thing about letdowns after a big win. BYU at Arkansas, our first SEC game. This is an interesting game. I forgot that Arkansas went out there last year. I forgot that. But BYU is coming to Fayetteville. What do you think is going to happen there? It's 8 points.
The Hogs are playing without Rocket Sanders, their stud tailback. I know nothing about BYU this year. I'm going to go with the SEC team at home.
Oh, my. Here's a pretty interesting game. This would have been the 1964 Pick of Dixie game of the week in the SEC between Georgia Tech and Ole Miss. Archie Manning against Pepper Rogers or whoever was coaching Georgia Tech back in those days. They used to play in the SEC, the Tech. Now they've got a new coach, a new quarterback. They're catching 18.5. I
like the Ramblin' Wreck because they got Haynes King, who's a pretty decent quarterback.
Right,
they're an improved team, and I think Ole Miss's defense is bad.
We're going to both agree on that.
SEC hang on a second. Toby says BYU's quarterback is Keaton Slovis. This is his third team in 3 years. He went from SC to Pitt, now to BYU.
He was I thought he was okay at Pitt, but man, he got hit a lot there. South Carolina at Georgia, bro, 27.5. This is, is this the Georgia team that we think they are, or are they trying to figure it out with Mike Bobo and that quarterback, Brock Bowers? Or no, what's his name? Not Brock Bowers.
Brock Bowers.
Brock Bowers. What do you think?
I'm going to go. Georgia has started slowly against all their opponents. I'm not a believer in South Carolina. I told you at the beginning of the year I didn't think they'd win 7 games. I still don't think they will. However, I think Spencer Rattler's going to make enough plays to keep it close. I'll take the Gamecocks. They're going to lose the game, but I'll take the Cocks.
I will too. Alabama, South Florida, 33.5. I'll take it, Alabama.
Alabama, like I said, I think Alabama scores every time they touch the football.
I say let these other quarterbacks play too. Here's a pretty good game in the Midwest. Kansas State at Missouri. Missouri has been very unimpressive, but they are 2-0. They're catching 3.5 at home. K-State, a few struggles with Troy, but I think they're going to run all over Missouri. I'm taking Kansas State.
I'm a big fan of the K-State coach who came from North Dakota State. They play boring football. They have a solid quarterback that doesn't do a whole lot. I think K-State wins that game.
All right, forgot one out-of-conference game that we need to mention. I got to scream because we got 5 tractors around here mowing grass. Friday morning before 9 o'clock. Dear God. LSU, Pittsburgh and West Virginia. The backyard brawl, Mountaineers -2.5. I mean, we used to care about these games, but these teams are so mediocre and they're so insignificant. Who do you got?
I know nothing about either one of these teams, but I'm going to take Pittsburgh.
I am too. West Virginia doesn't do it for me. It never has. LSU and Mississippi State, 12 o'clock noon. This is one leg of my 2-team parlay that my friend in Illinois got for me. I took Mississippi State +9.5. I took Florida +6.5. 2-team parlay. I'm going to win that bet because Mississippi State's going to cover and maybe win the game. I know you love LSU, but I'm taking the Dogs.
Mississippi State has not been very impressive offensively, but defensively, I think they're very stout. I think the Cowbells will give them some problems. I think LSU is going to win the game, but it's going to be very close.
I like it. Although I hope Mississippi State wins. And then finally, we're here. We're here. +6. The line's gone down from 6.5 to 6. Tennessee and Florida. The Vols can't win down here. I'm taking the Florida Gators, and I'm taking them to win outright. So that means bet the money line, folks. Get some odds.
Yeah, I want to say it was around 9 a couple of weeks ago. I like the Gators. I like the Gators to win the game too.
We talked about 2 weeks ago. We thought it was going to be a 3-point line. They are missing these numbers so bad.
Tony says on Facebook Live, JC, overcome the adversity on the field, JC. JC, you would be a bad head coach right now. You've lost your cool.
Well, okay, so the guy didn't throw the visor? I mean, he never threw the visor, right? Visor didn't go this way. Visor didn't go that way. What, he did that just because he wanted to watch it fly like a Frisbee? Hey, I'm going to throw my visor. Huh?
Ryan says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, the Stark Golf Course is wide open today, JC, if you want to go play there.
Hey, don't tempt me. Just invite me. That's all you got to do. NFL, here we go. 3 quick ones. Baltimore and the Bengals. Bengals, can they bounce back? They lay in 3 against Baltimore, who's without J.K. Dobbins. I think so.
Who's Baltimore playing?
The
You're talking so fast, I can't keep up.
I know. Cincinnati Bengals at home laying 3.
Oh, you got to think the Bengals. They're my Super Bowl pick. They're going to bounce back. I like the Bengals. Lamar didn't play very well last week.
Yeah, overpaid quarterback, folks.
Both of them?
Well, I don't know. I don't think Burrow is, but I know.
I think Burrow's outstanding.
I think Lamar Jackson's the most overpaid quarterback in the league. Kansas City at Jacksonville. Jacksonville +3.5. Kansas City, they don't know about Kelsey yet. He's questionable. But Kansas City has no wide receivers, and their running backs are average. Jacksonville's got a really stout defense. This is going to be a good game. I'm taking my home team Jags, season ticket holder, right there, section 2 of 45, indoors. Go Jags, 1 o'clock p.m. +3.5.
Are you going to the game?
Oh, heck yeah. That's why I'm not going to.
Are you wearing a Trevor Lawrence jersey?
I'm going to Jacksonville, and I'm not going to Tampa. Yeah, I don't have a Trevor Lawrence jersey, but I might after this season.
I love the Jags. I love Doug Peterson.
Sure.
I just can't. You can't think the damn Pat Mahomes is going to start the year 0-2.
It's hard to believe. Yeah.
So, I mean, they could win the game by 1. So you would win. I'm taking the Chiefs to cover, though.
Okay, that's 3 and a hook. All right, finally, Dolphins at New England. There could be some weather issues with this Hurricane Lee that's going up there. Thank goodness it's out in the Atlantic. But the wind field for Hurricane Lee, think about this. The wind field from one end to the other, tropical storm force winds extend almost 500 miles. That is a monster. And thank God it's going north and it's going to weaken in the cooler waters up there. But it's going to be windy in New England. And the Patriots are getting 3. The Dolphins do not play well in New England. So I don't know. What do you think?
Oh, it's just, I mean, as you said, the wind will affect Tua's ball.
Absolutely. 1,000%. And this is
I'm gonna go with the upset. I'm gonna take the Patriots at home.
Okay. I'm gonna be a homer and take the Dolphins. Fantasy player of the week to me. I got 2 quarterbacks for you, folks. Jordan Love, Green Bay. He's playing at Atlanta. He had 3 touchdown passes last week, projected to get 16 points this week. And Deshaun Watson, I can't believe I'd say that, but Deshaun Watson for the Browns at Pittsburgh. Steelers can't figure anything out. He had 23 points or 21 points last week against Cincinnati. I think he gets over 20 against Pittsburgh. Deshaun Watson, the Cleveland Browns are for real. And Green Bay with Jordan Love is for real. 23 points last week at Chicago, 3 touchdowns. I think both these quarterbacks at Atlanta and at Pittsburgh, Deshaun Watson and Jordan Love, get over 20 points at the quarterback position. You heard it here.
What was that? Our fantasy spotlight?
Remember, I do the fantasy player of the week, QB. That's a new feature on the show. New feature on the picks content.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that.
You guys can talk about it on the golf course at ask Coach Spurrier, who's starting on his fantasy team this week. I bet you he thinks
we should have had Ord get in our fantasy league team, our group. That would have been great.
He wouldn't spend 2 minutes on that. But I like.
Well, I don't either. I don't spend a minute on it. I hope I had all my players in there last night. I forgot there was a game.
I'm glad you.
Andy says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Meldon Law, rumblings that the Jets will trade for Kirk Cousins if Zach Wilson doesn't work out. Could you imagine Kirk Cousins on the Jets team? Whew.
Well, what I can imagine is the Jets are too good to throw in the towel this season, and they won't do that. But Zach Wilson's going to have a pickle of a time at Dallas on Sunday. So that, how many times will Dallas pick him off on Sunday? I think the over-under is 2.5. So I'm going to go over. I just think that's a miserable game for the Jets to play after a Monday night thriller where they had the emotions of losing Aaron Rodgers for the season, who says he's heartbroken, by the way. I think and hope he stays with the team and stays on the sideline because he's basically a coach. He is a coach on the field. He's a coach on the sideline. He needs to be there with his Jets and try to make a comeback. It's tough with that kind of injury at his age. But I think Zach Wilson's going to have an awful day in Dallas because the Cowboys, dude, that defense is nasty. And they will come after poor old Zach. You can count on that. But the Jets are nasty, too. The Jets are nasty, too.
They're very nasty. Text on the Titan More text line from Chris in Mayaka. He says, tell JC most people are at work now and the mowing isn't bothering them.
What? It's 8 o'clock. Zach from Mayaka. Wait,
most people have to be at work by 8, JC.
Why?
Most people have 8 to 5 jobs.
I heard it was 9 to 5. Remember the song, Dolly Parton? 9 to 5. What a way to make
you may be right.
Okay, but
they may leave early because they have to beat the damn terrible traffic in Gainesville.
Awful here. The infrastructure's garbage. But now,
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know a whole lot, but I know whoever did the roadways here, they need to go check themselves out.
Look, it's the same people who put a freaking high school in a neighborhood. Okay, it's called Buchholz, and it's in a neighborhood with a bunch of houses, and there's no parking, and it's just blah. There's no football field there on campus. Who does that? Who builds a football stadium? I mean, a high school and doesn't put a football stadium across the parking lot. It's unbelievable. But that's our planners here in Alachua, County. So anyway, it's calmed down now. We have serenity. I can hear a bird finally in my magnolia tree. I can see a bird in my bird bath. And I'm still waiting on my guy who I'm about to fire to come cut my grass. He hasn't come in 3 weeks.
So you need a new yard
his
service.
Ass is getting fired, huh?
Maybe I don't know if we have a lawn service that sponsors our program, but maybe I'm sure somebody that listens has a lawn service that could come cut your yard, JC.
Well, I'll tell you this: you think if Tennessee wins, that Billy's on the hot seat? You think Jimbo's on the hot seat? The real guy on the hot seat is my guy who's not coming to cut my grass for 3 weeks now, and it's been a slow summer for him. And
your grass has to be almost up to your knees if it's been 3 weeks.
I'm not. I just can't right now. I'm a highly emotional guy on Tennessee week. QB. A lot of things get to me about Tennessee.
You're upset. You're upset about your country club. You're upset about your yard. You're upset because Nick Saban doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, JC.
Chaos.
Just take a deep breath. It's going to be all right. We got to get to Jeffrey Meldon here. Have a good weekend, my man.
Let's see him win. Go Gators. Got to beat Tennessee.
You got people right here who have yard masters in Sylvester, Georgia. They'll come down and mow your yard. All right, that's JC. Join us on the Titan More Hotline. We're going to take a quick time out. When we come back, we'll be joined by Jeffrey Meldon, one of our great sponsors. He's going to be giving stuff away, so you want to tune in. You're watching and listening to PodUp with Matthews in the morning. We want to take this moment to thank our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official injury and accident law attorneys of the Florida Gators. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Campus USA, put some star power to work in your financial life with Campus USA Credit Union. Dave & Buster's, eat, drink, play, watch. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Silverback Concrete, Ruse Ogre State Farm Insurance, Radware, F45, Quality Plumbing. Our touchdown sponsors are Adams Ribs, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteak, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Q Billiards and Sports Bar. If you're interested in promoting your business on the show, call Freddie at 352-284-3733. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Attention all Gator fans, Meldon Law is giving away a chance to experience the Florida-Georgia game like never before. 2-night stay at the Hilton on the River, dinner at Ruth Chris Steakhouse, 2 premium tickets to the game, and a football signed by Coach Billy Napier, and much more. Go to the Meldon Law Facebook page and look for the VIP experience for 2. Good luck and go Gators!
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Silverback Concrete is a family-led team of heavy concrete specialists that build commercial structures with unrivaled quality. Silverback Concrete, you stand on it, we stand by it. We're waiting on Jeffrey Meldon to join our program. Rich says on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, shout out to Buchholz teacher Dr. Karen Kearney, who's the 2 bits for the UF Charlotte game. Your 2 bits for this game will be Trey Burton, former Gator, Philadelphia Eagles. Do we have him, Zach? Oh, he's connecting. All right. So this says, Greg, QB, you didn't believe me when I said UF open at 8.5. I didn't? I don't remember hearing that. There he is, the one and the only, Jeffrey Meldon. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing great, Shane. I'm suiting up for the game tomorrow.
Yes, we love your shirts. First of all, we appreciate you being part of our program. Let everybody know that you did. I thought you designed those shirts, but you didn't. You just wear them proudly. But aren't you planning on giving a couple of those shirts away?
Yeah, I've got one in every size, even for the big boys. And we're going to do a free giveaway for this shirt. All you have to do is to go to our website, meldonlaw.com, and right at the top, you'll see Gator shirt giveaway.
Okay, so just go to meldonlaw.com and they just put in their name and all that kind of stuff. And then when is the drawing going to happen?
Let's see. I think it's happening the 22nd of September.
Okay, so that's next week, basically.
Next Friday.
Next Friday. And so you'll make sure that whoever wins it will have their size and everything. Now, tell us a little bit about that shirt.
Well, I buy my all my Gator clothes at Eileen's Gator Shop. And Eileen always calls me early when she gets something new in. And she called me. She was really excited about this shirt and said, Jeffrey, you got to come in and see this new shirt we just got in. So, of course, I ran in there and I saw this shirt and I loved it. I had a good time. I went out to the Utah game and wore the shirt. We by the way, we won the tailgate in Utah.
There you go. That's very important. No question about it. Tim has a question for you on Facebook Live, brought to you by Meldon Law. That would be you, Jeffrey. This question is brought to you from Meldon Law. It says, is Meldon Law an NIL attorney group?
No. We what we do is we donate money to help the athletic program. However, it has nothing to do with NIL. In the future, we may donate some money to NIL, but right now, we're the proud sponsor of the Florida Gators, and we're the only official law firm partner of the Gators that, and we do primarily injury cases, accidents and injuries.
Yep. So basically, if you get rear-ended or you get run over walking across the street, call Jeffrey Meldon. They'll take good care of you, right?
That's it. You got it. There was some confusion in the beginning. We started in 2020 with our partnership with the Gators, and some people thought we were only representing the Gators. And I think we've done what we can to let people know we will handle your case in the event of a serious accident. Just give Meldon Law a call.
And you won't back down.
And
right?
we won't back down. Well, you know, I'm
right.
Tom Petty's first attorney. So it's kind of a triumvirate between Tom Petty, the Gators, and Meldon Law.
That's awesome. We got a couple more Facebook Lives here brought to you by Meldon Law. Joseph wants to know, what year was Meldon Law established and when did you decide to partner with UF?
Okay, we were established in 1971 and we decided to partner with UF in 2020.
Very cool. And is it just you and your son, Kerry, or do you have other attorneys working with y'all?
Yeah, we have 8 attorneys in the firm. My son, Kerry, and myself are the partners in the firm, and we've got about 32 folks that work with us, helping to serve everybody from Ocala, Gainesville, Lake City area.
We got a text here on the Titan Them Our text line for you, Jeffrey. It comes from Andrew. He wants to know your thoughts with Billy Napier, and do you spend a lot of time with him?
Well, what's pretty cool, Shane, is we got to fly with the Gator football team last year. Unfortunately, it was to the Vandy game, but we know Coach Napier. We got to meet with him in his office and hang out where he came from in Louisiana. Some good lawyer friends of ours are from the area where he used to coach. So we got an introduction to him. We met with Coach Napier, and I'm very bullish on Billy Napier.
Another text here on the Titan Them Our text line from George. He says, Mr. Meldon, were you the one responsible for getting Won't Back Down into the swamp?
The answer is no. It was something that the University Athletic Association put together shortly after Tom Petty died in 2017. And there was an outpouring of love for Tom and from his hometown in Gainesville. And that's how it got started. And, it's building, Shane. And I think, in 2 weeks at the Charlotte game, it's going to be Tom Petty game again, and there's going to be all kind of giveaways. As a matter of fact, Meldon Law is doing a fan fest this weekend for the Tennessee game and for the Charlotte game right outside of the main entrance to the O-Dome. And it's pretty cool. We got a Wheel of Fortune, and everybody wins a prize, and it's a good way to get ready for the big game.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Asa asks on Facebook Live, brought to you by Meldon Law, the only official law firm partner of the Florida Gators. Jeffrey, did you attend Spessard Law Center, now Levine Law Center at Florida?
Yeah, the Levin Law Center. No, I'm a Cleveland, Ohio boy, and I went to Shaker Heights High School, and then Ohio State, and then Case Western Reserve Law School in Cleveland, like all good folks from Ohio do. Everybody goes, used to call Ohio State the Big Farm, and because it was an agricultural school back when I went. And it was so. The point I'm trying to make is I got good football breeding when Woody Hayes was there.
Yeah, no question. Another text on the Titan Tomorrow text line. Bob in Jacksonville wants to know, are you still doing your podcast?
Yes, we're coming up on 3 years. I know you've been a guest on it, and it's been really exciting. It's called Meldon Law and Friends. It's on Facebook and YouTube. And what we're trying to do is bring members of the community on our podcast to support. It's mostly charitable groups we're trying to support and local businesses. And it's been a huge success. Not quite as successful as your podcast, but a lot of people listen and watch it.
Well, Jeffrey, we appreciate you joining our program. Before we let you go, a couple of things I want to mention one more time. Fan Fest tomorrow. They're right in front of the O'Connell Center. I want to say it's right near where Cardozo and Tate Casey are doing the pregame show. I think it's in that same little area. Go by, see the Meldon Law tent, spin the wheel, win you some prizes, and then let everybody know again the website and what they need to do to go win that fancy shirt that you're wearing.
Okay, well, that's meldonlaw.com right at the top. You'll see it. But Shane, there's one big exciting package that I want to share with your viewers and listeners. The Florida Georgia VIP experience. We're giving away 2 tickets for the Florida Georgia game. The night before, Friday night, we've got 2 nights at the Hilton Hotel right on the river. You can take the boat right across to the game. Friday night, dinner for 2 at Ruth Chris Steakhouse. Then 2 passes for the Gator hospitality event. And then a football individually signed to you by Coach Napier, and 2 great tickets to the Florida Georgia game.
Wow. That's awesome. And they can sign up for that on the website as well, right?
That one, you go to the Facebook, Meldon Law Facebook page for that one. So we call that the Florida Georgia VIP experience. It's on Meldon Law Facebook page. And again, 2-night stay at the Hilton, dinner for 2 at Ruth Chris Steakhouse, 2 great seats to the game, 2 passes to the Gator hospitality event, and a personally signed football from Coach Napier to whoever wins. So that's pretty exciting. We started it this year, and the Florida Georgia game is pretty unique. So I think that's something we want to do is whether in all kinds of weather we support the Gators. So we need to show up at Florida Georgia game and surprise the Bulldogs.
No doubt about it. We really do appreciate you taking the time to join our program. We'll make sure we continue mentioning the Meldon Law Facebook page for the Florida Georgia experience, and then meldonlaw.com to go and register to try to win those stylish Jeffrey Meldon shirts. Jeffrey, appreciate your time, my man. Appreciate you supporting our program.
Thanks a lot, Shane. I'll see you soon.
Yes, sir. That's Jeffrey
And
Meldon.
go Gators.
Go Gators. That's Jeffrey Meldon from Meldon Law. We're going to take a quick time out, come back, wrap up this Friday edition. We want to take this moment to thank our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. Meldon Law, the only official injury and accident law attorneys of the Florida Gators. Peachland Dental, Gator Nation's first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. QC Kinetics, live pain-free with QC Kinetics. Campus USA, put some star power to work in your financial life with Campus USA Credit Union. Dave & Buster's, eat, drink, play, watch. Our gridiron sponsors are Auto ER, UF Bookstores, Silverback Concrete, Ruse Ogre State Farm Insurance, Radware, F45, Quality Plumbing. Our touchdown sponsors are Adams Ribs, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteak, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, Silver Q Billiards and Sports Bar, If you're interested in promoting your business on the show, call Freddie at 352-284-3733. If you like what we're doing here, make sure to follow us and support the businesses that support us.
Attention all Gator fans, Meldon Law is giving away a chance to experience the Florida-Georgia game like never before. 2-night stay at the Hilton on the River, dinner at Ruth Chris Steakhouse, 2 premium tickets to the game, and a football signed by Coach Billy Napier, and much more. Go to the Meldon Law Facebook page and look for the VIP experience for 2. Good luck and go Gators!
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Ruse Ogre State Farm Office is a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you and your family. Visit ogreinsurance.com. Give them a call at 352-240-1779. Let's get to this day in sports, brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Put some star power to work in your financial life with Campus USA Credit Union. In 1990, the Chicago White Sox's Bobby Thigpen's the first to record 50 saves. He was on that great Mississippi State team with Will Clark and Rafael Palmeiro. So that's brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Again, I want to thank Jeffrey Meldon. Missed some of y'all's questions as he was going off the air. Let me see. There was a couple of texts on the Titan Mark text line. Says, ask Mr. Meldon what his best memory was in the swamp. It came in a little late. Says, Jeffrey, Billy needs support. Can you give him support? Oh, he supports Billy Napier. There's no question about that. So don't forget, if you want to sign up for one of those fancy shirts, go to meldonlaw.com. And I guess it'll be self-explanatory on there. I haven't been on there to see that. And if you want to, for the VIP Florida Georgia experience, go to Meldon Law's Facebook page and sign up. As he says, 2-night stay, boat ride to the game, tickets, Ruth Chris dinner. Should be a good weekend. Hopefully the Gators record is pretty good going into that. Real quick, Kevin says, Shane, can you comment on your memories of the 90 game where Tennessee hit us in the gut 45-3? Then the next year, revenge game, we won 35-18. Yeah. If people forget that Spurrier's first year in 90, it was 7-0. And we were on a 2-minute driving and threw a corner route for a touchdown to Kirkpatrick, and he dropped it. It would have been 7-7 at the half. Probably the only pass Kirkpatrick ever dropped. I give him crap about it to this day. So we kicked a field goal, 7-3. Then we kick off, and Dale Carter runs the opening kickoff back, and it was just all hell broke loose from there. But both those teams had a lot of good players, both returning the following year. And, we put it on them pretty good in the swamp. I mean, heck, I didn't know this either until Coach Spurrier told me. I never lost a game at home in my 3 years. So playing at home is a huge advantage. We're going to need everyone in their seat early tomorrow night. And I think it can help us, lead us to victory. I really do. I think it's going to be a tremendous atmosphere. I think the Gators are going to play well, and we got to go find a way to win a football game. Simple as that. Whether we throw it every down, we run it, whatever you think. We got to find a way to win the game. Andy asked, Shane, how many points do you think we need to score tomorrow night to beat the Vols? I would say around 27-28. I think we're going to win this game 27-21 will be my guess. They've struggled this year. I mean, Florida's played we've only played Utah. McNeese was terrible. They've played Virginia, who's awful. And they played Austin Peay, who's not a very good team. So they've struggled. I have some friends that are Tennessee former players, and they're not convinced this team's very good. So we shall see. I hope I'm right. I think our kids have had a good week of practice. I think they'll be ready to play. I'm just hoping Billy will come out firing. Let's get a lead. Remember, we talked about the lead. Let's get a lead for sure. So hope you enjoyed today's program. A lot going on this weekend. I can't wait. I forgot to talk about the 1966 HBC beer. So if you're the game, grab you one. and scream and yell. You can also get them at Spurs Gridiron Grill and select retail outlets.